Say happy, oh, thank you. Got it. I want to say happy Tuesday to everyone and thank everyone for joining our SCIP meeting. Today we actually have a really big treat with our tool time. Ryan's going to be talking to us about branding, publication, and just, okay, that's weird. I already clicked got it, then it just said recording, and I don't know what's going on today. All right, it's Tuesday. Is it like a full moon Tuesday or something? Twilight Tuesday? What's going on here? So anyhow, we're so excited to see everyone. We have a jam-packed agenda, one that we hope you find very invigorating and exciting. I wanted to start off though, just giving a quick update about our SCIP community of practice, and what we've been talking about as we've been kind of strategizing how to move the group forward. So we shared in the last meeting that we actually had 4 pillars or focus areas that we wanted to organize ourselves around. One was internal events, one was external events, one was community impact, and one was around marketing, branding, and promotion. And so we have leads for those particular focus areas now, 2 of which I want to highlight. So Dot Cordova, in that beautiful purple lipstick that I'm like, I need the name of that. She has graciously taken on the lead to drive our efforts for community impact. And Dot's had some really cool ideas, but she's looking for folks to work with her to drive that. There's some things that she's done in the community before, including helping the youth in the community with getting their college applications in and getting resumes together and all that. So there's a lot that we can do in the community to impact those around us, and Dot is going to be spearheading that. So if you're interested in community involvement and impact, please ping Dot during the session so she knows to reach out to you and include you on those planning sessions. The other pillar that we are launching right now is the marketing, branding, and promotion. And that has to be done because people always go, oh, tell me about SCIP, and I start rambling. We need a place for people to go to learn about us and to heighten and promote who we are, what we're doing, and how we actually benefit those that participate and join. So Ryan Darke is helping to drive that force along with a couple of others, including Noelle, who's on the call, and Selena. And so the first thing that they're doing is working on actually getting us a landing page and website on the SCMI website so that we can have a place to drive traffic and people can learn more about us. So if you're interested in marketing, branding, promotion, website design, and development, please reach out to Ryan, Selena, and Noelle, and they are going to continue to drive that effort forward. I think those are all the opening announcements. It is March, which is so exciting because there's March Madness. There's all these things going on in the world that involve data and statistics, like my brackets already died, but I just encourage everybody to know that as a community of improvers, we can have a lens on anything in the world that makes it so exciting to look at. So again, thanks for joining. I'm going to yield the floor over to Ryan, who's going to take us through our tool time and then explain our breakout. Just as an FYI, after we come back from the breakout, we're going to get an update. We played with the blog before, and Chessa Heinzman has graciously come back to give us an update on what that blog looks like, answer any questions, and continue to help us drive traffic there. So Ryan, I'm going to turn it over to you for tool time and our breakout.
Yeah, I think we've got Dot. I think Dot was going to, Dot, were you next? I think you were.
Well, I was actually going to introduce you, Ryan, and you know what? This was awesome because it actually gave me an opportunity to get to know Ryan a little bit better, and we recognized that we had something in common. I live out in the Santa Cruz Mountains, in Felton in the Mount Herman area, and I found out that his daughter works out there, and we both have a love of the outdoors and so forth. So I was quite excited to learn a little bit more about Ryan to introduce him, and also found out that he's working on some of the departments that I'm partnering with on the POCUS side. So I believe you support surgery, anesthesia, and I'm forgetting another one.
Interventional platform.
Interventional platform, how could I forget? But he's been with us. I didn't realize you'd only been with us since November of 2020. I feel like you've done so much since you've been here in such a short period of time. So anywho, I just wanted to welcome Ryan. Thank you so much for sharing all that you know about authoring and publishing with us. And good to see everybody.
Great. Yeah, Dot, it only feels like 10 years. But yeah, it's only been a little over 1. No, it's been so much fun. I've really enjoyed my time here. And I've gotten to know so many people so fast. I think that's probably why it feels a lot longer. And COVID's really accelerated things too. So, okay, so awesome. Thanks for the introduction. I wanted to give all of you a quick overview. And so I'm going to put a little caveat. I know that some of what I'm going to share for some of you is going to be just like overly basic, and you're going to be like, wow, this is so simple. And then for others of you, it may be something you've never thought of. So just understand that there's we're talking to a fairly broad population here, both who are attending today, but also who are going to be listening to the recording. So just keep that in mind when you see the content. This is really meant to be a conversation starter and get the wheels turning if you haven't already thought through it. So let me just jump right in and share my thoughts. Okay, so as we look at different opportunities in the world of improvement, and we're actually going to have some questions in the breakouts in a moment, so keep that in mind about what we're discussing here. But as we look at opportunities for to share our work and share our thoughts to the community at large, one of the first things we think about is possibly conference opportunities. So within conferences, there are things like the IHI Forum that happens every year in December in Florida. There's also Vizient conferences, which is usually in November timeframe in Las Vegas. Lean Healthcare Academic Conference, which is also in the fall here locally. Catalysis has a Lean Healthcare Transformation Summit that's in June most years. This year it happens to be in Salt Lake City. There's Healthcare Con, which is here in Stanford. We have the Shingo Conference in Orlando, Florida, Lean Six Sigma, or ASQ, Lean Six Sigma, and they also have the World Conference on Quality and Improvement. And then there's the ACHE Congress, which is every March in Chicago. So there's, and others, so AME. But with that, I wanted to give you a sense. There are more. I mean, there's obviously many, many more, but these are just some of the quality improvement focused conferences that occur all throughout the country. And I share this because there's different opportunities we can jump into to be able to participate. Some of you maybe already have and are regularly doing this. Some of you maybe are intimidated to and never even thought that maybe your work would apply. I want to encourage you that there's so many different opportunities that just go for, I'd encourage you to just go for it and try. So there are things that we can do like abstracts. And then we can also do posters and formal in-person or now virtual presentations where we actually give, could even be all the way up to a keynote, but it could be something like a breakout presentation where you're sharing your work, sharing your thoughts as a team or individual. So there's different opportunities within each of these conferences. And even if you're not sure, I'd encourage you to just try to submit. The process of submitting your projects, your ideas, your work is actually helps you to really think through your project and think through some elements that you may not have thought through before. So it's a really neat exercise, and who knows, you could get accepted to it. All right. So, oh, and I'm seeing Lisa's note, the SMC Lean Conference is going to be October 11th and 12th. It's already on my calendar, so I plan on being there. And yeah, we can submit abstracts. I think I am actually planning on doing one. We may be even submitting this, the SCIP work. Okay, so let's go on. So what about publishing and authoring? Because this is something that many of you maybe have done already, and we're an academic institution, so publishing seems to be a very common part of our DNA, right? And we're at Stanford, so it's to some degree expected. So there are different journals. So this one here is with ACHE. There's a couple of different journals that they have. They also, and then Joint Commission has the Journal on Quality and Patient Safety. There's Health Affairs Journal, Quality Digest. New England Journal of Medicine's Catalyst. There's Healthcare Executive, which is also a part of ACHE. JAMA has theirs, Quality Progress. And then there's specialty specific medical journals that depending on who you're working with, or if you're working with School of Medicine or other units, they're specific to those areas. There are journals. And oftentimes those journals are really interested in seeing improvement work because a lot of theirs are more clinically based. So there's huge opportunity as well to share the improvement side of things in those areas. Yeah, and there's others. So there's links to many on the SMCI website, but these are just a few. So some of the things we can do is abstract, so a small piece, or actually a full journal article. And again, if you've never done this, I encourage you to try it. And maybe this is the next step past doing a abstract presentation or poster at a conference is trying to submit. And if you have questions, there's plenty of people to reach out to. We have lots of experts throughout Stanford. Then there's also other opportunities. And so think of this as like maybe a first step, and very much a new way of looking at things. So we have our SMCI blog. I think last SCIP we shared it. We're going to talk about it a little today. So you could write a blog. There's external blogs. You can put add to blogs externally. There's podcasts. We could create our own. You could be on someone else's. I know that there's actually people on this call specifically, I know, that have been on some podcasts out there external to Stanford. And so you could certainly be on those. There's LinkedIn where you could post, you could comment. So what we can do is we can author these. We can actually start these like we started the blog. We could do podcasts. We could do LinkedIn posts, but you could also comment on any of these. So, and it could also be YouTube, for example. We have our videos that we've done for improvement science on from SMCI. They sit on YouTube. You could comment on those and stimulate conversation. You could also do forwards or mentions. So if you saw something here, you could forward it on to your own platform. Usually that's within LinkedIn, but it could be other areas. Or op-ed. So yeah, Michelle, yeah, you could do op-eds as well. Yeah, thank you for that. There's others. So let me just say, where will you start? Really, I encourage you to pick one and try it. Here's an example of one that was on LinkedIn, for example, and it combines two things. So on LinkedIn, Jake Mickelson, who's on the improvement team here at Stanford, wrote a note on LinkedIn referencing the YouTube video, one of the YouTube videos that we've done for improvement. And on it, there's the ability to comment. So if you go on there, you can add comments so to keep the conversation going. So this is what I wrote. I wrote just a little bit from what he questioned. I added the comment, and then other people commented. He commented back on it, but other people can continue to comment. So this is a very simple one that if you haven't done it, go for it, try it. So anyway, just wanted to give a quick overview on the different methods. There's certainly more. Remember, this is just a high level overview, but hopefully it's piqued your interest. All right. So before I jump on to the next step, I would like to know if we have if anyone has any overall thoughts in general on that, and then we're going to do our breakouts.
And Ryan, I just appreciate you making it simple. I know for me, I've never published anything. And so I'm not a writer, you guys, I'm a talker, right? And so this idea that I've got to get an abstract, write the abstract, hope that it gets accepted, it's like daunting, but it's easier than a publication, right? But now I can even go to LinkedIn just to kind of practice those skills and create some muscle memory. So thanks for taking it to the simplest format to be able to encourage everybody just to get out there, just get your feet wet, jump in the pool, even if it's just to your ankles, right? And get started. So thank you for sharing that and bringing the simplicity.
No problem. Okay, so let's see. Let me share my screen again. Is someone else doing the intro to the breakout, or am I?
That was you.
Okay, good. Okay, just making sure. All right, so let me do this. Okay, everybody, here. So I'm going to share a link in a moment that's going to take us to the mural page. But before we do, I want to introduce what we're going to be doing. So we're going to break out into groups, and as usual, what we would like you to do is introduction. So your name, organization, and do, if you would, before you just jump right into the icebreaker, if you would get to know each other. That's really part of what we're doing here, is really connecting. Oh, Selena, thank you for putting it in. Okay, so take some time and get to know people beyond just what organization or what your role is, because this really allows us to bridge the organization and different roles, etc. Okay, so the questions are going to be, as improvement professionals, how much, if any, of our roles should be authoring, presenting, and publishing improvement to the community at large? The next question is, what motivates you to author, publish, and or present? And then what are you submitting or presenting in the next 8 months? What we're going to do then is, on the mural, we've got for each team, team 1, 2, I mean 1 across the top, 2 in the middle. So whatever team you're on, if you would just make your notes in here on the mural, that would be outstanding. And then we're going to afterward come and report back on it. And then, as usual, at the very bottom, we have the I like, I wish, I wonder for the bottom. So if you'll go ahead and click on the mural link that's in the chat, Selena's going to go ahead and put us into groups, and then we will have our conversation. One of our teams is going to stay in the lobby because we want to keep the recording going so that others can see what we've done. So if you're one of the lucky ones, you can be in the lobby and be recorded forever. So perfect. Selena, you want to?
Are we in the room that's not moving? Okay, cool. Maggie and Mark, I'm not sure if you guys are on and are able to.
I am. This is Mark Pepper. I really apologize. I'm actually driving to a site, but I'm on. Just so you know, that's why I don't have my video on.
Okay, no problem. We just want to make sure that you're safe.
I am, no problem.
That's most important. But it sounds like you're able to chat, which is awesome. And Maggie, are you on as well? Okay, not sure. I think we're supposed to start by doing introductions though. So Mark, if you don't mind just telling us a little bit about yourself, department, and how long.
I'd love to. So I work for UHA. I oversee the facilities and the capital projects teams. And I've been with UHA for about 1.5 years. And then prior to that, I was with Stanford facilities for about 1.5 years also.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. So facilities, is it maintenance, construction? What falls under all of that?
So facilities for UHA, at Stanford, same thing. It's all of the offsite clinics. So anything that's connected to the building, the maintenance of it, if something breaks, and the janitorial.
Okay. Oh, that's awesome. That is awesome. Well, thank you for introducing yourself. And then do you have an improvement background specifically?
You know, I actually came from senior living. I was the COO for a senior living company and just got burned out. So a recruiter actually called me, but yeah, I ended up with Stanford and I've enjoyed it, loved it.
That's awesome. Well, if there's anything improvement wise, I know UHA has improvement consultants and all that as well, but we are always happy to fold you in if there's something that's burning that you want to learn or get exposure to. Absolutely.
No, that's why I wanted to hop on this. I think it's kind of a neat topic and idea.
Cool. Well, thanks for joining. Maggie, I don't know if you're on yet. She may have stepped away for a second. Selena, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm Selena Meza. I work for SHC Quality Department's Improvement Capability, as well as the program coordinator for Stanford Medicine Center for Improvement. So happy to be here with SCIP.
Awesome. And I actually am on the same broader umbrella team with Selena. And I also facilitate Write and CELT. as well as teach in the Lean Six Sigma Black Belt program. Our clients are changing right now. So Ryan's still one of my clients in anesthesiology. I'm moving to revenue cycle and actually facilities and construction under Helen Wilmot. That's why I was asking more from Mark, because I need all the help I could get as I transition over there.
Yeah, now we're talking the same people.
Yeah. So we're working on those transitions in the next month or so, but I will be in your world, so I'm sure we'll cross paths more than you want. So.
No, love to have you in my world.
Awesome. So I know if Maggie's not on, the question was really about presenting and publishing, and if any of us have done it, if we're looking to do it, and what's preventing us from participating in publishing and presenting. So I'll just open it up and see if anybody has any thoughts.
Yeah, when you say the publishing part, what exactly would you be referring to with that?
Yeah, so we talk about it a lot because, being connected to an academic medical center, there is a huge push for people to actually write articles and journals and publications and all that kind of stuff, right? To further enhance and push forward the opportunities for development and things of that nature in the medical field. So our physicians actually get incentivized. Like that's part of how they promote. That's part of how they grow their career, is to do research or try things and then publish the results. And so with improvement, our roles, we're not necessarily we're not incentivized to do it, but we are the ones that actually drive improvement. And it's funny that we don't spend a lot of time publishing or writing abstracts or anything. So we just thought it was cool to know who does, who's interested in, what keeps us from doing it, because maybe we can come up with a tool or something that can help kind of make it easier for people to jump into that realm.
Yeah. How would I understand the medical side of it for the publishing. How would that equate into more the physical side of, when I say physical, I mean the building maintenance, that type of side of it?
Oh my gosh, are you kidding? So this is how I see it. Because in my last role, I was very tied to facilities and a lot of other things. And to me, any healthcare organization's success lies with facilities as a foundation. I mean, if you think about
you are not wrong.
Well, I'm serious. If you think about COVID, right? My sister is actually the director of environmental services at a Kaiser facility. So when COVID kicked off, she was like not sleeping, like it was constant. And while people don't think about it, if our HEPA systems aren't pumping, collecting airs and the filters aren't changed and we don't have a maintenance process, tag in, tag out, people getting injured, just all these things that people don't think about, they just expect them to happen naturally, and they don't. It requires a perfect dance every day in healthcare to make those things that allow everybody else to do their job go off without a pitch. And so when we talk about healthcare operations, to me, if you're looking at healthcare COOs or anything like that, they're concerned about the work that you do, Mark, and how to do it better, how to do it effectively, efficiently, and consistently. But you don't see a lot of people writing about it. But every hospital, every healthcare system needs the secrets, the keys to the kingdom on how to do that, right? And so there's a ton of healthcare journals out there, but there's a void for the space that you actually could publish in. And they'd eat it up. They would totally eat it up.
Yeah, nope, I'm very interested just to learn more.
So a lot of times, like I said, people publish and do this thing because it gives them brand recognition, notoriety, capability to promote and, kind of build who they are and their credibility. But the truth of the matter is you don't have to be a 3-time PhD to share information. You just have to be knowledgeable and have passion. And so I know that some people think, oh, I'm not qualified, I'm not credentialed. You just have to have legit information. And so I'd be interested to even dive into it with you a little bit, because I'm serious. Just operationally, I can recall getting phone calls at 3 a.m. from the COO because these pipes busted, and everybody's like, oh, we'll just fix the pipe. It's like, yeah, but the water's already leaked, and so we've got to do all these checks to make sure mold doesn't happen. And it was over by the NICU, so then the babies, and it's deep, but people minimize it. And the other thing, Mark, that's really powerful about it is you actually could end up motivating and inspiring other people to look into being a part of that work.
Right? No, it's a part, I think, for me that I would just like to learn how to do, the writing part of it. And like you said, just putting it all together.
Yeah. So, and that's where partnership comes in. If you look at most publications, it's not written by one person. Abstracts aren't written by one person, and the work's not done by one person. So even
I like that idea even better.
So if you had an idea or some key points, and you came back even to SCIP and said, hey guys, I want to write this thing, but I'm not sure how to put it together. These are my key points. This is what I want to drive home. I'm sure people would partner with you and help you get out there. I love your space. I'm sorry. I think it's so important in healthcare. I really do.
Yeah, no, appreciate that.
So I'm a talker. Obviously, I'm not a writer. I'm just talking the whole time.
Oh, I love your enthusiasm. Not many people get excited about HEPA filters, and you did a great job, by the way. I mean, like you really got excited, and I was like, wow, this is nice.
Like, who is this chick?
Yeah, no, but when you were talking, I had to laugh because I had Catherine Kerna and Dr. Bowman. Everybody's calling me right at that point in time, right?
Yeah.
When COVID was busting out, and you put together a lot of stuff, and it's the case where some of the stuff ends up getting actually read, but they need it right away, whether it gets used or not. But no, like I said, a lot of the stuff you were just saying just rang true.
Yeah, awesome. Oh, I forgot we're supposed to be putting stuff in the mural. Okay.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
That's okay. You're driving. Selena, do you have it up?
You've got to be the mural girl.
It's in the chat. The link is in the chat. I don't.
Okay, let me get it. I'll get it right now. Hold on just a second. That's funny. I was like, we're just talking.
And I like to talk too, just for the record. Now, I'm all loaded up on boba tea right now too. So
that has caffeine in it, right?
Oh
Yes.
Man, people think coffee has caffeine. I say I like I have my morning tea, but it's milk and sugar and evaporated milk if I'm really lucky.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
There's nothing medicinal or calming about it.
Well, I'm gonna pop some stuff in here. So I think let me see what the questions are. I should know what the questions are.
I can read the question. It says, as improvement professionals, how much, if any, are our roles should be authoring, presenting, and publishing improvement to the community at large?
And it looks like people have written in team 1, 2, and 3. So I think people don't know the team numbers, so we'll just pop stuff in there.
Yeah. I think we don't have we're team 4 then, because we don't have a number since we're in the outside.
All right, cool. Mark, do you use mural and stuff a lot?
Yeah, I've used it. Not a lot, but I've used it.
Okay. It's funny because I always joke the technology gods don't like me, but I'm in here and I'm representing us. I'm gonna put it in here.
Yeah, we're all learning.
Yeah.
So I think our role to publishing improvement in the community, I think it's critical. I mean, we just kind of talked about that, right? Because it brings awareness to the things that people really want to know about.
And also, like you were saying with facilities, sometimes people, there's so much more deeper than people realize also. And when you publish, it opens others' eyes, in other departments, what's going on. I've never published before. I've been a part of teams where I got my hands dirty and I did the data work and did the reading of, patient charts or whatever, to begin the process to get the data for publishing. But I've always been interested in that as well. On how do you publish? How do you get started?
Yeah. And actually, it's really simple. Once you figure out which journals or organizations or whatever you feel, so usually they'll send out a call or something, and they'll say they're looking for topics or papers on this, right? Especially for the conferences, they'll have a theme. So you can look at that and then see if there's a topic that kind of fits that you're interested in. I know that Jake, it feels like Jake has a paper for everything. You like those people that just is like, oh, you're talking about this? I got a paper for that. But a lot of times the best way to get your paper or your abstract accepted is to actually answer the call based on what content they're looking for. But then other journals that like journals and stuff, not conferences, they just have like a schedule, right, on which you can submit, and they give the requirements. So they'll say like the abstract has to be less than 500 words or da 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 da, and so you just kind of seek them out. So The second question, what motivates you to author, publish, and or present? None of us have, well, Maggie has, she's not, I think she's available, but none of us have, but I think.
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, hey, Maggie. Hey, so what, can you give us some thoughts on what motivates you to author, publish, or present? Because we know that you've done it.
I think it's like what you said, Jakaria. It's basically using your perspective to amplify your voice, right? So
Yes.
if your voice is a consultant, like I think you were giving that really powerful story of helping out the COO, with, hospital operations, then that's your unique perspective as somebody who's in the trenches, in the operations, which is going to be different from like an academician, with a PhD in ivory tower. But yet it's a very powerful perspective when it comes to healthcare operations, right? So I think that's the biggest motivation. I mean, I know some in academia would want to do that because that's how you build currency and advance, in the academic track. But I think, Mark, to your point, and Jakaria, you elaborated on, sorry, I have been so quiet. I was driving, so I didn't want to make you hear all the road noises. But I think it's just basically a desire to tell your story and tell it the way you want it to, right? With your perspective.
That's awesome. The last question here says, what are you submitting or presenting in the next 8 months? So I don't know if anyone is. I know that Ryan is putting together a paper for SCIP itself. And he's doing that both for the Lean conference, which is coming up in October, I believe. And I hope everybody's able to attend it. And then also for another journal. So I'm not co-authoring with Ryan because Ryan's up at night by himself writing, and I'm not going to be like, hey, it's midnight, let's chat. So I know he'd like to though, because I'm really cool. No, I'm just kidding. So he's taken on the biggest part of that. But is anyone else planning on submitting, presenting in the next 8 months?
Yeah, I think just from the VBC program perspective, because the program is now 2.5 years old and have some really early learnings in terms of, not that it's like totally super successful, we're all done, but just learning in terms of, what does it take to start a program, to keep it going, and what do we continue to learn? So I know that there is a paper that I'm one of the many co-authors. So again, Jakaria, this is the point that, underscoring the point that you were making. Most papers are not written by 1 or 2 people. If they were, they're kind of like perspective pieces, like this is a piece of my mind, just gonna write it down, get it published. But most academic or non-academic journals, more like trade management journals, they're usually written by tons of co-authors. So I'm working on one of those papers on VBC program and the learnings from the program. And hopefully it's targeting New England Journal Catalyst or something of that nature.
Perfect. That's awesome. And so Mark, just for your FYI, so VBC stands for value-based. Oh, why did I just forget the C, Maggie?
Care.
Care.
And tell him the purpose of it too, so I don't mess that up.
Imagine that, the C for care in healthcare.
Right.
How unusual.
So yeah, and the purpose of the program, Maggie, do you want to share with Mark since he's not in that particular arena?
Sure, yeah. The impetus for the program starting about 3 years ago was to address sort of the high cost of doing business of Stanford Healthcare. And, the cost, if it continues to increase, as it is with most healthcare institutions, all trying to control costs, it's going to make healthcare unaffordable, right? For the payer, but also for individual patients. So VBC was kind of born of that concept to really try to work closely with providers to tackle healthcare cost issues, department by department. So that's kind of VBC program in a nutshell.
Oh, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So we probably have a few more minutes. Is there anything else about this topic that anybody had questions about, wanted to bring up or broach, or any thoughts?
when publishing, is there like a timeline? Should you have a case study for like a year before you think about publishing, or can you just do it whenever?
Yeah, Maggie, can I lean to you on that if you have any thoughts?
Yeah, sure. That depends on what is it that you want to publish. So if it's a perspective piece, do it the way Ryan does, turn on your relaxing music and get it going at 2:00 in the morning, drink whatever drink you want. My personal preference is a glass of wine, but, each person has their own, glass of inspiration. If it is kind of like publishing from experience or something based on your work, I would say probably, check in with your operational partners, right? When they feel like it's ready for things to be shared, then you can start writing. So not really a timeline unless you're really on a grant, in a grant proposal, or unless your project is funded by an external grant, in which case they do want to see publications on a timely basis. But I think that's not most of us.
Yeah, the other thing that'll drive that need is if you have a lot of data to present, right, to show as a result of what you've done, making sure that it's statistically significant. So, have you studied it long enough if you're actually using it as a research tool or mechanism?
Yes, exactly. Hence the background and screen share.
Yes, be a hugger, get 15 or more consecutive points close to the center line. So
exactly.
I have
if
to
you
tell
don't
you,
get that, you can't publish because you're not a hugger.
I know. So Ryan has created like 10 or 12 of these, and they are hilarious. We cannot wait to unleash his creativity. It's just great.
I know. I like the one that says I'm special.
He is special. We're being recorded though. Let me curb my conversations. But Ryan is special. He's absolutely special.
Okay.
We do have a couple more minutes. If there's not many more questions, to see if everybody can, or if you're driving and you want me to type it in, some of the I like, I wish, and I wonder for today's session, or for future sessions, if anybody has any thoughts. And if you're driving, like I said, I'm happy to type them in. So anything you liked about today's session?
Going to the mural.
Got it.
I like hearing about the different conferences because sometimes we get siloed into what we're doing and what's going on in our area, and it's nice to hear what's happening outside.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think, sorry, I was muted. I think for me, just it's kind of a topic that I never really thought about directly, but kind of indirectly. And, I'm thinking about furthering my education as well. And I think it all kind of ties in with that. So I think just the introduction of it all to something we all are aware of, but don't really pursue or think too much about.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyone else with anything they like from today's topic, session, or engagement time?
I think just hearing the different perspectives, because I think for me, my personal background is in academia, so I think it's really refreshing to hear others talk about, what they plan to publish, and a lot of it is deep in operations. There's a lot of learnings from Ling, a lot of learnings from, just how do you make hospitals operate efficiently, right, Jakaria, to your point. So that was very refreshing to hear.
Awesome. How about I wish? Is there anything you wish was done differently for today's session or was done differently in future sessions? I wish we could be in person one day. That's my wish.
I think everything was good.
And to the wish thing, is there any other topics that you guys would like to see in tool time come? Just curious. We always ask.
So I think, Jakaria, Scott, I had a suggestion just around change management, which I think came out, or I put on the mural before. I apologize. I had some things I needed to jump off the call earlier. So,
no, that's okay. Yeah, no. That's good to know. Change management is such a broad topic. Is there a piece of it, Dot, that just hurts your feelings or makes you angry and makes you want to take Advil? Like what specifically? Just curious, is there something specific about it?
Well, I think if you've got technical workflows, right, versus operational workflows, so kind of the challenge between IT and operations.
Right.
That's a good one. Okay, I'm going to start to bring everyone back now.
Okay, we'll be snatched.
No one wants to come back. We're having good conversations.
Yes, that's okay.
That's great.
That is. Well, I want to thank everybody for the conversation we had. I learned a lot from everyone in the room, so it's absolutely wonderful.
Right. Is it me summarizing it again?
Well,
Right.
I thought Michelle was going to summarize, but we also want to hear
Michelle.
from, and then we want to hear from Chessa as well.
Yes, that's right. Hello, Chessa. All right.
Hi.
All right, Michelle, you're up.
So am I doing just my team or the whole board?
We'd like to hear about the whole board. Do you want a second
Okay.
to look at it all, or are you okay?
Yes.
Okay, so maybe we can have Chessa share an update on the blog, and then that way Michelle can prep to give the rundown.
Oh, sure.
Okay, awesome, thanks.
Okay, I'm gonna share my screen and show the blog really quickly. We've made a few changes to the blog. So just to kind of get you guys oriented, this is the landing page. I can put the link to this in the chat so you guys have easy access to it as well. And I'm not sure, how familiar you guys are or not, but basically we just want to encourage people to come here to share anything that they have perspectives on projects, what they've learned, all those different types of things, even just like improvement concepts. You're more than welcome to share your opinion, everything on anything improvement science related. And ideally we would hope to get some collaboration on all of this by, letting teams, look up different topics and articles and write in cells, or, when they're improving on something. On the actual page here, you can see kind of our mission, that we're accepting submissions. I'll kind of show that in a second. And then down here, we have our 6 latest articles. These will kind of change over time as we get more. And then if you want to submit something, you kind of go here and it's going to take you to another little landing page that basically talks about how to submit a blog post. The main things that are really important here is the rules of the road piece. So we want to try to keep them very short and sweet, snappy, something easy and digestible for people. And then obviously we have to make sure we stay out of trouble. So, keep away from any PHI, HIPAA stuff, any of those types of things. Just be careful. Using percentages, no dollar amounts or specific numbers, just so that way we kind of stay safe with that stuff as well. If we're using any pictures of people, we want written consent, of course. If we're using a link to any articles or references, we want to make sure that's also open access. And then we also encourage people to use pictures as well. So whether it be of your team, whether it be of your A3, whatever we can show, we definitely want to do that as well. Encourage that. There's a couple of types of blog posts that we like to see. One is an improvement project reflection, like I mentioned. So if you finish an improvement project and you want to, yell from the rooftops about how awesome it was, or share your learnings about how things really flopped or how things were great or whatever. That's one type. And then the other one is kind of a perspective piece. Could be your perspective on a particular improvement topic. It could be even on an improvement project, just a team dynamic or any of those types of things. This one is a little bit more freeform. If you want to submit something like this, please email the SMCI email here. If you want to do an improvement project reflection, we have created a little smart sheet kind of guide link Here it's a form. There's a lot of boxes here, but most of them are pretty straightforward. They take a lot of pieces from the A3, but we do want more than just your A3. We want you to reflect, give us your thoughts about, what went well, what didn't go well, those types of things. And there's a lot of guides on how to, walk through this part. And then when you submit that, that goes to this little email that gets sent out to the SMCI box and notifies myself and Hurley as well about it. And then we reach out to you guys to do some editing back and forth and ideally get it posted quickly. So those are kind of the routes for how to submit something. And if you guys want to submit anything, feel free to go on here and to use the link here or email us directly. You also can email me directly. I'm the one who's doing a lot of the editing anyway, so you can just bug me. There's also a great link about starting with why. If you're kind of stumped for how to write something and you want to write something, this is a great TED Talk if you haven't watched it. It's awesome. He's a great speaker. And then there's an article here to kind of help inspire you about how to format it as well if you kind of want to do a perspective piece. So that's my super quick spiel. Please submit stuff. We'd love to see new things come through. We'd love to hear your perspectives. And yeah, are there any questions? Can I answer anything?
Jess, I love what you've done here. I love how you formatted into the two different types, the reflection and perspective piece. I think that's awesome. The improvement project reflection does have a very close feel to how you might submit abstract or a submission to a presentation at a conference. So that's very nice. So that's again another easy way to start that journey, and it would give you some experience on doing it. It's really well done. Nice.
Thanks, Ryan. Other thoughts? I thought I heard somebody try to speak up.
No, it was just me for the sake of the group and those that maybe weren't stuck in write and sell this past cohort. So if you're submitting information on an improvement project, you put it in the smart sheet, then what happens?
Oh, yeah. So what happens is it goes into this little backend that I've built, and it emails SMCI directly. It also emails me and it emails Hurley. What that basically will do is then immediately I or Hurley will reach out to you directly. And usually within that week, we'll start kind of an editing process. I'll move everything over into a Word document. And usually we can do one meeting, revise, what you've already submitted. I ask like 1,012 questions in that one meeting, make some edits, and then you will make the final edit on it, get it by your team, make sure they're cool with it, and you send it back to me. So it's literally like a one edit process when we're pretty much done. So it's meant to be very quick, very straightforward. It's not like 3 weeks of edits. Like we're not doing that. So it's one meeting of edits. And then we kind of just do some final touches, put a bow on it and submit it. So
awesome. Thanks for that. Any other questions for Chessa? And if you email her, it's Francesca, but we just call her Chessa. All right, Chessa, thanks so much for sharing that. We'll turn it over to Michelle now to give us a recap of what we learned and talked about today in our breakouts.
Yes, and I'll share my screen and keep it quick so we can get to the last part. Is that working? There we go. Okay, so I'm going to read the highlights that I thought were interesting. So from team 1, as improvement professionals, how much, if any, of our roles should be authoring, presenting, and publishing improvement to the community at large? This one was interesting in making the distinction between a career advancement for an improver versus a clinical professional, and that there is maybe an imbalance of power there in terms of what each person gets out of it. In my group, I talked about working with my global health colleagues in low and middle income countries or in underserved communities in our own communities, and also the potential to work with trainees like residents, fellows, and medical students who are very passionate and are great to work with on things like this. From team 3, I like that sometimes we may have a different role. It could be the lead, it could be middle, background, depending on many factors. So, you could be the person who knows this project the best and you should be leading kind of how it's written, or, you were kind of more of a coach. And so you can kind of just maybe help with editing or kind of the big picture, what direction to go in. Team 4 talked about it's our obligation to open the eyes of others and to bring awareness of things that they may not be in the know about. The second question, what motivates you to author, publish, or present? I like that this group talked about what's demotivating is I don't feel like I know enough, be getting rejected. I definitely know all about that, especially with like grant funding and stuff like that, which is another way of publishing, I think, and getting resources for your ideas. Team 2, that was we talked about, Margaret talked about how she has been in a group where there was that time aside for people to bring their research, like on a monthly basis or something like that. And so you always wanted to bring something to the table to contribute and share and get feedback from. I really love that idea, and I'd love to incorporate that into my department. Team 3 talked about free access to conferences. I think that's a good practical one. Team 4 enlightens others on best kept secrets. And I think in the improvement community, that is very relevant. And what are we submitting in the next 8 months? Some people set some goals here. In my group, we talked about kind of some mini write programs. I think we'll be publishing on that, some scholarly activity. We're also implementing M&M and QI reporting system in my department, for example. I'd love to publish on that. Gold standard communication, lots of stuff for Vizient, which is awesome to have representation there. Health equity, Department of Defense. Wow, that's amazing. VBC program learnings, LinkedIn, super easy, super practical and attainable for all of us. So thanks so much for allowing me to share. And I really enjoyed talking with Joy and Margaret today. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks for that, Michelle. Thanks for giving us our recap. So we are at 2:54. The last portion of the session is I like, I wish, I wonder. If you don't mind going back into the mural and sharing what you like, wish, or wonder about today's session. We don't want to hold you till the very tip so you don't have a moment between your next meeting, but we would love it if you did take a second and add some things that you like, wish, and wonder for us to consider as we plan the next meeting. Again, we want to encourage everybody to think about how you want to further engage with this group. And the 2 teams that are really launching, like we said, are the community impact and the marketing group. So if you have a desire to lean with that, please reach out to Ryan Darke for the marketing and branding group, which we see he's busy about because there's like 12 of these backgrounds floating around and we got to figure out what to do with them. And if you're interested in community impact, please reach out to Cordova. Are there any questions or parting remarks from anyone? We appreciate everybody joining the call today. We know everybody's extremely busy. I didn't even think I was going to be here today, but it all worked out. So we're just grateful for everybody who had time to come today. Are there any questions, thoughts, closing remarks that anybody would like to share before we close?
I want to say this was Margaret's first time, so welcome.
Welcome, Margaret. Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Margaret, what department are you in? Where do you work?
I'm in patient experience on the children's side.
Awesome. Oh, well, welcome. Awesome. Thank you so much for joining. All right. Well, hopefully you all met someone new and had a wonderful time. We will see you in the 4th Tuesday in April. And start writing abstracts, start submitting blogs, start typing on LinkedIn, and reach out to your colleagues if you don't want to do it alone. We're all here to help and partner. So thank you so much for joining SCIP today. Everybody have a fabulous Tuesday afternoon.
Thank you, everybody.